Hi, so my name is Campbell Reck, and my presentation topic is the negative effects of the fossil fuel industry on a global scale. So, a little bit about myself. I am currently a student. I'm a senior at Southern Columbia Area High School, and after I graduate, I intend on attending Boston University or New York University. I'm currently interested in social justice and the climate crisis, but I'm not 100% sure what I want to major in. There are three focal points of my presentation, being climate change, how the fossil fuel industry encourages violent territorial disputes, and the large impact that it has on economic stability. So, what are fossil fuels? Fossil fuels can be anything from coal to crude, oil, or natural gas. They're basically made up of remains from millions of years ago, so decayed and compressed dinosaur parts and old plant matter. So, because of this, they are high in carbon content and they produce CO2. And they're also non renewable. Globally, we consume 11 billion tons annually, which is extra concerning because scientists predict that we only have 53 years until our fossil fuels run out. There are two main methods of extraction that we're going to be focusing on. Those extraction methods being fracking and drilling and mining. So, fracking slash drilling is the process of drilling down into the earth to release fossil fuels such as gas, natural gases, or oil. Mining is the stripping of topsoil and layers of rock to reach coal. Here are some of the negative effects of extraction. Extraction can disrupt habitats. As we saw in the last slide, one of the methods for extracting coal is to remove topsoil completely. And obviously, that has deforestation issues, which is extremely harmful because, well, for two reasons. The first reason being that trees, they they use carbon dioxide, which is a greenhouse gas, and emit fresh oxygen essentially. And also, clearing of trees can be an issue for habitats and animals, which can affect our food sources. Oil spills can also be deadly to animals, which again will affect our food sources, and water pollution. That can be especially harmful to impoverished communities who don't have the resources to combat that. The United Nations actually named air and water pollution as the number one global killer because it can cause asthma, cardiovascular illnesses, developmental issues, and even cancer. The effects of uses of greenhouse gases are fossil fuels are higher carbon emissions, and this can contribute to greenhouse gases. Greenhouse gases are CO2. CO2 is a greenhouse gas and it contributes to rising temperatures. It can also ruin pristine landscapes, as we saw deforestation, clearing of topsoil to mine, and it can taint our food sources, such as water pollution, and animal contaminants. So, another issue is environmental racism. Now, I know this sounds crazy. How can something that affects everyone on a global scale have contribute to any form of racism? Well, developing countries are the most affected by climate change because they are the least able to afford its consequences. Countries like the United States, China, France, Canada, we produce the most fossil fuel emissions. Yet, because we are wealthy countries, we are able to combat the negative effects, such as malnutrition, malaria, cancer, and asthma, whereas these developing countries don't have the resources to combat that. We also see this on a smaller scale in impoverished communities in the United States. They're affected in the same way, such as Flint, Michigan. So, global territorial disputes are another issue. Oil and gas are the world's most important commodities as of now because 80% of global energy is non renewable. That means that 80% of the energy that we use daily comes from resources that are finite. We won't be able to make more of them once they're gone, and we only have 53 years left. So, this obviously causes a lot of territorial disputes. So, the Iran Iraq War from 1980 to 1988, was the struggle over resource-rich territory. The Gulf War, which was Saddam Hussein, claimed that his neighboring country was stealing oil from an oil field that straddled the border. Economic stability is also a big factor. So over the past decade, the United States has been producing more oil and decreasing our reliance on imports. New jobs have been created in the US and oil prices have gone down. It's cheaper for gasoline and travel, as well as lower prices of many manufactured goods. Now, this sounds great. It sounds super effective. However, we are basing a huge chunk of our economic stability on something that is a finite resource. This whole entire industry isn't stable. It will be gone in 53 years. For us to put that much weight into one economic prospect is extremely damaging, especially when it's a finite resource to begin with. Other global disputes include the China trade war, that's between the United States and China, and Russia and Saudi Arabia being leaders in the oil industry until the US rose to power in oil production. And here are my citations. Thank you.